All right, so a few things as we get started. We have some people joining us right now, and we are excited that everyone is here. I want to welcome you to our session today. My name is Brittany Castellaw. I'm the owner and founder of Backstage Energy Marketing, and I'm really excited to dive in today's webinar. We're going to talk about planning your 2026 digital marketing strategy for energy companies. I want to introduce our account manager, Ashley. She's in the chat today, and you will definitely see her active. This session's going to be engaging. I want you to pull that chat up. If you have questions, I'm going to be also asking you questions. So feel free to respond in the chat so that we can really get a temperature check of what you're dealing with, what you're working through, and how we can help during this session today. We will have a Q&A at the end, so drop any questions and then we will answer those at the end of our session. If you pre-registered, you already have the free search audit in your inbox for your company. This audit is designed to show you where you're winning, what to prioritize in 2026, and what opportunities you might have. If you're on the webinar and you didn't pre-register, that is okay. Go ahead and drop your email or as well as your website or domain in the chat. Ashley will grab that and queue it up for our team to get audited, and you'll get that in your inbox in the next 24 hours. So let's go ahead and get started. Whether you're an executive looking to generate more leads or you're an in-house marketing or sales team trying to get more traction online, this session will give you a practical roadmap for the year ahead. So let's talk about a little bit about who we are. So at Backstage Energy Marketing, we work exclusively with energy companies, industrial companies, power, chemical companies, and anything that falls under that umbrella. That really means that we understand your industry, your prospects, as well as the challenges that you face when trying to grow digitally for your business. We help both executives as well as marketing and sales teams really navigate this digital world. So whether you have a team that's full with marketing team or you're looking for a trusted partner, we're here to make sure that your marketing drives actual results online. So I know we had a few people that joined while I was going through the intro. So if you have questions, be sure to drop them in the chat. Ashley, our account manager, is here. We'll have a Q&A at the end, so definitely feel free. This is going to be engaging, and I'm going to ask you a few questions. So pull that chat up and make sure that you're answering so that we can really understand where you are in your business and where we need to help. So drop a 1 in the chat right now if your company still relies heavily on trade shows or cold outreach or cold sales calling. Typically in this industry, we see a lot of energy companies, industrial companies that are relying on outdated marketing tactics, or even some of these marketing tactics that aren't connected to their digital strategy, and it's costing them deals. So in today's market, your prospects, they're researching online before you ever get the chance to pitch them or that your sales team ever gets to talk to them. So what does that mean for your bottom line? Overall, it means that you're missing opportunities and losing revenue. So today I'm going to break down what your 2026 digital roadmap should be and how you can start implementing these things immediately. The channels we're going to focus on in this session are going to target SEO. This is your search engine optimization, how to be found where your prospects are searching. We're also going to talk about Google Ads. We want to capture that high intent search to create high intent leads with a quick ROI. Next, we're going to talk about LinkedIn. This is organically posting on LinkedIn. You want to build authority and trust utilizing LinkedIn. We're also going to talk about the LinkedIn ads component, right? We want to target the right decision makers right in front of your buyers and your prospects utilizing LinkedIn ads. And last but certainly not least, we want to turn your traffic into revenue with your website, one of the most important digital channels that you have. So by the end of this session, you're going to have a framework that really captures, creates, and converts demand online. So let me ask you guys a question. I want you to drop a 1 in the chat if you've noticed that prospects are doing more research online than before, like before you ever get to talk to them. Absolutely. We see this more and more. And it's a shift that's not only happening in our industries, but it's a shift that we're seeing everywhere. So we're seeing that prospects are increasingly starting their research online, right? Decisions are being shaped before you even pick up the phone. And the data supports that. Because here's what the data says. 80% of B2B buyers initiate contact once they've completed 70% of their buying journey. Guys, that is a lot of the buying journey that you cannot control unless you have all of your digital footprint online and working like a well-oiled machine. Okay, so it's very important that you implement digital strategies so that you don't miss out on the 70% buying journey before they ever talk to your sales team. So decisions are being made before your prospects ever connect with your sales team. And it's important that you're implementing approaches, trusted strategies that really bring those prospects through that 70% of the journey so that you can convert them into sales. So here's why this matters for energy companies. Prospects expect the same digital experience they get as consumers. So let's imagine this. I'm online, I'm shopping for new furniture. Maybe I'm shopping for a pair of shoes. I know that when I go to Wayfair or Amazon or any other online platform for my consumer needs, I have a very high expectation that that digital experience is going to be good, right? Because I want to purchase something, I'm ready to buy, boom, checkout, add to cart. Here's the deal. Your consumers, your prospects, they're also consumers in their day-to-day life, even though you're in a B2B market. They have this expectation, and we're seeing that they want this same expectation in their business purchasing and in their day-to-day business life. Competitors are also building trust online before that first meeting. And if you're not visible and credible digitally, you're already behind. So let's dive into how to be effective online in the energy industry. We're going to start with SEO. This is your search engine optimization. This is ranking organically in Google search. And I'm a little curious. I want to know who's actively investing in SEO right now for their current marketing strategies. Drop a one in the chat if it's part of your current marketing efforts. We've got some people joining, and I'm going to, once they get joined, I'll let them know. Hey guys, I know some of you guys just joined. We're asking a quick question about SEO. If you want to jump in the chat and let us know. If you are currently utilizing SEO, drop a one in the chat if it's part of your marketing efforts. Yeah, we see some people saying yes. That's awesome. Great. So SEO is so important to our brand, and let me tell you why. There is a massive opportunity for energy companies when it comes to search engine optimization. Most energy companies aren't investing any, or if they are, it's not enough, which means you have from here, we want to talk about what are the three things that you can implement right now when it comes to your digital marketing strategy for SEO. So I want you to target commercial intent keywords, right? These are the keywords that are focusing on terms that your prospects are using when they are ready to buy. They have high intent. They know that they need your service. Maybe it's something like offline pipeline inspection company. They may not know that your company offers this service, but they know that they have a problem and they're actively looking for a solution. From there, I want you to build topic clusters around your core services. Okay, what does this mean? Take a core service, create case studies, technical white papers, other services that align with this core service, and basically build a spider web. And what this does is it creates authority on search. From there, the last but certainly not the least most important thing from SEO perspective, so I want you to optimize for AI search, right? I'm sure you've done a Google search and you see Google snippet at the very top and it answers your question. You never have to click on a website, you never have to dig for the information, it's right there. Here's the deal. By having FAQ information on your site, by answering those types of queries, you will be able to start being featured in those Google AI snippets, which is really, really important to help your business rank from an SEO perspective. So here's the deal. I want you guys to think of Google as your 24/7 trade show booth, okay? If you're not ranking, it's like your booth is empty or it's not set up and you have all of this traffic coming by that you never, ever, ever get to talk to. So we're going to jump now to LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn is where we're going to build trust and authority, and it is the number one platform in the energy, industrial, chemical, power industries for B2B decision makers. Okay. So prospects are scrolling this more than they're scrolling your website. And so we have to be on this platform. We have to make sure that we have content that's positioned well so that your prospects are building that awareness, but also you're building trust with those prospects. So, what are we going to do? In 2026, here's how you're going to win on LinkedIn. Number one, it comes down to consistency. This is so important. If you post once in a blue moon, it's a waste of time, guys. I want you to be consistent. We highly recommend at minimum 3 posts a week. If you can't commit to 3 posts a week, do weekly 1 post cadence. Okay, mix it up. Do a Tuesday post, a Wednesday post. Don't create a pattern because algorithms don't like patterns. The last thing you want to do when it comes to posting is post 3 times this week, 3 times next week. You're doing great. And then guess what? You go on a 3-week break and then you post 5 times in one day. That is not consistent. It's not great for your algorithm. You will see a decrease in your reach altogether, and your audience will have a perception that maybe your brand isn't 100% consistent across all levels of the organization, which isn't always the case, but you want to have consistency on LinkedIn. Next, you want sharing insights. LinkedIn is not a place just to share a brochure or a piece of sales collateral. We're meeting people for the first time. You want to think of LinkedIn as that first handshake, like the first time you're meeting them on a trade show floor or in a cold call or even at a cocktail hour, a different event. You don't just come at them and say, hey, here's my sales information. That's weird and awkward, and you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure that you're sharing insights, you're sharing content that really positions your brand as authoritative in the industry, so that you can build a relationship with your prospects utilizing LinkedIn as that first handshake. And then the last thing I want you to focus on in 2026 is really utilizing your team to amplify your reach. Okay, there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. Number one, you can, if you have a smaller team, that is okay. Make sure that you have content going out consistently and tell them, hey, I want you to share this content with your network. Increase your brand reach utilizing your team. Another way to do this, I know I have some people on the webinar right now that have international teams. You've got teams that are out in the field and they like to post, they like to show what they're working on. And that is great. Create a branded hashtag that they can utilize to post this content. And then as your page, engage with them on that post. Not only does that help employee satisfaction, but it also really amplifies your reach as a brand on LinkedIn and shows authenticity so that you can build trusted relationships utilizing LinkedIn. So before I get into the LinkedIn ads element, I want to ask you guys a question. Has anyone currently ran any LinkedIn ads for their brand? Just put a yes or no in the chat so I can get an idea of where you guys are. I know some of you are because we have some of our clients on today. Thanks so much for joining us, and we're helping you guys with that. So here's the deal. LinkedIn ads, yeah, we've got some yeses, we've got some nos. LinkedIn ads is so great for your brand. I'm going to tell you why. Number one, it really lets you reach the exact decision makers at the right companies, much more precise than almost any other channel. Okay, so I love the idea of aligning your LinkedIn ad strategy with your sales alignment. So if you use account-based marketing or account-based sales, and let's say your sales team is targeting 300 top accounts. Okay, these are the guys we're prospecting hot and heavy. We, are calling them, emailing them, whatever your sales process looks like. Give that list to your marketing team and say, hey, create me some ads specific to this list, right? These are the accounts we want to target, and these are the job titles or the individuals. And let's put some content right in front of them. LinkedIn is so powerful at getting your message in front of the right demographic and the right audience. We also see a lot higher quality leads than other ad platforms because it is a midterm ROI channel, right? So we're able to really manipulate the data across your website and Google ads and SEO to bridge them over to LinkedIn and target that audience on LinkedIn again. So what are we going to do for 2026? Here's what I want you to do. Okay, first and foremost, I want you to focus on a lead gen campaign. If you've never ran LinkedIn ads before, that's no problem. Start. right? Let's create a lead gen ad campaign. I want you to focus on thought leadership. Create a gated or a lead magnet. That means that there's a piece of content. It could be a technical white paper, a technical brochure. It could be a case study. It could be a video that maybe you tease and then they get the full video after they submit the form. Any type of valuable content that really targets the consideration phase, right? You have to know here's the awareness, consideration. I'm considering making a decision. I'm trying to gather all the information. Let's generate this lead using thought leadership content. Next, focus on retargeting. This is so important. It takes sometimes over 7 to 11 times of your prospect seeing your brand before they ever remember, right? We're on our phones, we're watching, streaming, we've got the Spotify on. We have so much noise as consumers, even in the B2B space. It takes a lot for your brand to get in front of them and build awareness. So continue to retarget those website visitors with different types of ads and messaging on LinkedIn. Not last, kind of go together. I want you to filter and target, right? Don't just say, hey, I want to target the US in the oil and gas industry. That's going to get you nothing except you're going to waste a bunch of money, right? We want to target by industry, by company size, by the location, by the job role, maybe some interest groups. There's so many capabilities on the back end of targeting for your LinkedIn ad campaigns. Here's the deal. You want to add multiple layers, right? You want to add information for the LinkedIn platform to better target your specific audience. So LinkedIn really allows you to target the exact decision makers at the exact type of company that you want. It really helps eliminate wasted spend, and it really helps generate leads for your sales team. So let's jump to the next channel, which is our Google Ads. Before we jump here, I'm going to take another poll. Tell me if you have ever clicked on a Google ad, whether you're, buying something for personal, consumer, or maybe even in the business space. Drop a 1 in the chat if you've ever clicked on a Google ad. Yep, we're seeing lots of ones, right? I even click on Google Ads because Google is in the business of creating the best search experience for their searchers. They know that, hey, this ad and this landing page is going to answer this search query, and we're going to put it at the top. Okay. And so you have to think like Google and the Google Ads platform in order to really capture these high intent buyers. And it's so imperative that you have a strategy because you will see really short-term ROI when it comes to Google Ads. So when it comes to 2026, let's dive into what actions we're going to take. First and foremost, short-term ROI channel. We want to remember that. People are searching with intent. We want to target high intent, bottom of the funnel keywords. They may not know your brand. They may not know exactly what the product is that you sell or the service that you sell that they need, but they know they have a need, right? Target those keywords. Get in front of that audience so that your competition doesn't get in front of them first. Next, you want to use negative keywords. This is so important. You can waste a lot of money on Google Ads. Google Ads, a lot of the search intent is broad. You want to make sure that you are actively every single week watching those Google Ads. Do we need to add any other negative keywords so that we're not paying for a click that's absolutely irrelevant to our business? Very important thing to implement in 2026. One of the most important things with a Google Ad strategy is you want to build dedicated landing pages. Okay, what this means is, let's go back to that offshore inspection company example. If you have a term that you're bidding on, offshore inspection company, and the user clicks through, they typed that in, they click through and they go to your homepage and it's like abccompany.com. They're like, wait, I don't even know who ABC Company is. I'm looking for offshore inspection technology and companies, and this has nothing to do with that. Even though you offer that service, the landing page experience was disconnected. So you want to make sure your landing page is built specifically for your Google Ads keywords and strategy. That user should go to a dedicated landing page all about offshore inspection technology and companies and sort of type of keywords and phrases. So they say, if you do this, 2 things might happen. Number one, you're going to pay a lot of money for that click because Google knows this isn't the best search experience. Number 2, Google's in the business of providing the best search experience. And if it's a bad one, you're not going to even get to to be up in the Google Ads auction to get that click. So these two elements are really important when it comes to bridging the gap and making Google Ads work for your business. I want to talk about your website. Your website is really the digital hub. It is probably the most important element across your digital footprint. Okay, so here's the deal. I want to take a little poll. I want you guys to be honest with me. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, what would you rank your current website from, hey, it's just a still static brochure to this thing is a revenue generating engine? Let me know in the chat so I can get a feel of what we got. Ooh, that's a nice. Good job. 8, yeah. Both of you guys, 7. Yep. So your websites, all of you guys that commented are actually really, really done well. And so it's good that you agree. So that's good that you have that footprint already ready and it's already built so that once you launch some of these initiatives for 2026, it's ready to generate that revenue, right? So that's good. Thanks so much for those answers. So we find that a lot of websites in this industry, they're really boring and they're static brochures and quite frankly, they're quite useless. And so we want to make sure that we're not just attracting the audience to the site, we want to make sure that it's generating revenue and that that website can churn out leads for your sales team. So here's some things I want you to focus on. Even if you've got a 7, 8, or 9 in the chat, I want you to focus on some things for 2026 on your site. Do an audit. Make sure these things are set up. And if they are, give yourself a check mark. If not, let's integrate them so that you have a really clear engine that your audience is driving to. First and foremost, I want you to place a call to action or a CTA above the fold. What does that mean? When a user lands on a website or on the homepage, before that user ever scrolls, anything above that scroll is called the fold, above the fold. It can be, I want you to call this phone number. I want you to click this button and fill out the form. I want you to download this resource. I want you to watch this video. Whatever is the highest priority call to action, it needs to be above the fold. Okay. Secondly, we're going to talk trust. I want you to make sure you have case studies. Make sure you have proof of expertise. If you don't have case studies or can't develop a case study, that's okay. Create some technical content. Show that you know this industry and you are authoritative in this industry. Make sure that you have this content because it really drives all of these channels we talked about. Search engine optimization. Google's looking for authority. It looks at content like that. LinkedIn, looking for authority. You can use this content for your LinkedIn ads, that lead magnet we talked about. So this element is so important to drive all of these channels that we have talked about for your 2026 strategy. Last but certainly not least, make sure your website's quick. Again, we are consumers. We live in the Amazon world. We want things and we want them yesterday. Okay. If your website takes a long time to load, you've lost them. So make sure it loads quick. Make sure you have a mobile friendly design, right? In this industry, your executives that you're targeting are traveling. They're busy. Maybe you're targeting field workers, engineers, things like that. They're busy. They're in the field. 9 times out of 10, they're looking at your content and your website on a mobile device. Make sure your site's optimized to be mobile friendly. Last, make sure you can navigate the site. Keep it so super simple for when a user lands on that site, they know exactly what action that they need to take, right? It's all about bringing these things together and making sure that your website is really a 24/7 revenue generating engine when it's built right. So I'm going to take a little temperature check. I know that we covered a lot. We covered 4 different channels as well as the website. I want you to drop a 1 in the chat if you can already see how these components really fit together for your 2026 strategy. Yep, we're seeing some 1s. Absolutely. Good to see that, guys. I'm glad this has been beneficial. So here's how this all fits together for you. Okay, SEO and Google Ads. This is where you're capturing that demand. Okay, and then you bring it down to LinkedIn. This is that social channel, LinkedIn plus the LinkedIn ad component. This is where you're creating demand. This is where we talked about building trust and building authority, lead generation with lead magnets. And then last but not least, bringing those people down to your website where you're converting demand. Okay. It's so important that you see how all of these things work together to capture, create, and convert your audience utilizing digital marketing. Back to that data point, 70% of that decision is made online. Okay. Your sales team probably is amazing and they probably know, hey, this is the data we have. These are the case studies. These are some of the project profiles. These are the technical white papers. But if your users never get to that sales team, you've lost them. If your prospects they fall off or they can't find you online, they're never going to get to that sales team. So make sure that content is online so that you can follow this funnel that we basically built, capturing, creating, and converting this demand online. So this is the next step. You guys will all get a recording of the webinar and as well as the slide deck so you can reference it as you're putting together your strategy for 2026. If you pre-registered, you already have the audit, the search audit our team put together for you in your inbox. If you have questions on that, feel free to just reply. It'll come straight to me. Happy to answer those or jump on a call and walk you through the audit and maybe some high points and steps you can take for 2026. We do have some Q&A time. Check time. Yeah, we're still good. If we have any questions that came in, you can let me know. Or if you have questions that you want to ask now, drop them in the chat and I can take a couple of minutes and answer those. One in the chat about the best CTAs to include above the fold. This is a good question. So some of the best CTAs above the fold include, you can put a form right on the page. That way you don't even have to click through to a contact or to a demo page or sales calls page. A form is great. It's the end all be all. Give me your information. Sometimes people aren't ready to give you their contact information, and that is okay. Have them download a resource. You don't necessarily have to have them download a resource in exchange for their contact information, right? It's all about trust at this phase. So have them download a resource. Have them watch a video, right? You can track that. You can target and retarget people who watch that video with a different message. So there's a lot of different calls to action that you can put above the fold. The main thing you want to think about is, what do I want somebody to do when they get to my homepage? And put that in front of their face, right? Keep it so super simple, like do this and then do this. We don't want it to be complicated. And even if your site is huge, that's not a big deal. That's great. Make sure that the organization and the navigation makes sense for all of your users. Great question. Any other questions that we've had come in? I don't see any, and that is no problem. So I'm so glad you guys joined us. We have 2 more webinars coming up before the end of the year that are really good. So keep an eye out for those, and we'd love to see you guys on them. Again, if you have questions after this, feel free to shoot us an email. I think all of them that are on here, you guys have my email, but I'll go ahead and drop it in the chat, and I'm happy to answer anything after the webinar. And thanks so much, guys, and you guys have a great one.